Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, we learned about function expressions, arrow functions, and concise body arrow functions. In this video, we are going to complete the next few lessons on Codecademy. Scope. Scope defines the accessibility of a variable. Depending on where we declare our variables, each variable will have different scopes. Codecademy has used a great example here to try and help us understand this better. So what they've said here is everyone who lives on the planet Earth is in the global scope of the stars. The stars are accessible globally. So what this means is that wherever we are on Earth, we can just look up and see the stars. Meanwhile, if you live in a city, you may see the city skyline or the river. The skyline and river are only accessible locally in your city, but you can still see the stars that are available globally. So this is true. If you are in Bangalore, you won't be able to see the Empire State Building. But if you are in New York, you will be able to see the Empire State Building. But if you are neither Bangalore or New York, you will still be able to see the stars. So this is just a dry explanation of what scope is. We will dive into scopes more in the next few lessons. Blocks and scope. Any code enclosed within a pair of curly braces is called a code block or just block. It helps maintain the structure of our code and also helps in readability. So here we have a function named log sky color, and we know how to declare a function using the const variable. So these two lines written over here are enclosed within a pair of curly braces. That means this is a code block. This code block belongs to the log sky color function. Similarly, in the next example, we have an if condition which takes in a variable dusk. So if this returns true, these two statements will be executed. Once again, these two statements are enclosed within a pair of curly braces. That means these two statements belong to this if code block. Now we can come to the instructions. At the top of main.js, declare a const variable named city, set equal to New York City. This variable will exist outside the block. So I'm not creating any new blocks over here. As mentioned in the instructions, I'm just going to declare a variable const city is equal to New York City and click run. So below the city variable, write a function named log city skyline. I come over here and I'm going to use const this time. Const log city skyline is equal to, take in some empty parentheses and point to this code block which is empty. Let's run and see what happens. We can go to the next instruction. Inside the function body of log city skyline, write another variable using let named skyscraper and set it equal to Empire State Building. So I come within this code block and say let skyscraper is equal to the Empire State Building. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. Let's click run. Oh, supposed to be left. Close this error. Let's run it one more time. Yes, now it happened successfully. Inside the function, include a return statement like this. Return the stars over the skyscraper in city. So I'm just going to copy paste this over here because this is the exact statement we need to put over here. So copy paste. Let's run. Yeah, that's also done. So now beneath the log city skyline function, use console.log to log the value of log city skyline to the console. You'll notice that the log city skyline function is able to access both variables without any problem. In the next exercise, we'll consider why would it be preferable to have one variable outside of a block and the other inside of a block. So let's see what they mean over here. We are going to console.log and call the function log city skyline. We can just call the function within the console.log statement because this function log city skyline returns a string. So what this means is this statement means is just log this statement to the console. Let's run and see what happens. The stars over the Empire State Building in New York City. So before we go to the next lesson, let's just review this code. We have a variable city which holds the string New York City, and the variables which is declared globally, by the way. It's on any code, it's on any code block, and the variable skyscraper, which is defined within the function log city skyline, is defined within this code block. But still this is able to this return statement is able to access both these variables, skyscraper and city. So here in this example, city has a global scope and skyscraper has a scope which is defined, which limits itself to log city skyline function. We will learn more about these in the next few lessons. Global scope. Scope of a variable defines the accessibility of said variable. If we declare a variable within a given code block, the variable can be accessed by statements only within that code block. However, if we declare variables outside any code block, as we have been doing in most of our code till now, it is accessible by all code written in that file. Such variables are said to have global scope, as they can be accessed globally. So here in this example, we have a variable color which holds the string blue, and then in the next line we have a function which says return sky color, and we have one statement which returns the variable color. So now we know that this variable color is not declared within any scope because it's not inside any pair of curly braces. So therefore this variable is said to have global scope. So that means all code blocks and on all statements written within this file will be able to access the variable color. So again, we're just going to console.log the value of return sky color. That means it's going to return color. That means it's going to return blue. That means when we run this example, blue will be logged to the console. Now let's come to the instructions. At the top of main.js, write 3 global variables. Name the first variable satellite and set it equal to the moon. Name the second variable galaxy and set it equal to the Milky Way. Name the third variable stars and set it equal to North Star. So I have to declare global variables. That means I should just declare them without putting them within any code blocks. So I'm going to use const satellite is equal to the moon, const galaxy is equal to the capital M Milky Way, and const stars is equal to North Stars. Now let's click run. So below the variables created in the previous step, write a function named callMyNightSky. Inside the function, include a return statement like this: return night sky colon and all these variables which make up one single string. So I'm going to come below these variables and write a function, copy that name and paste it over there. Create a function, and within the function body, I'm going to copy this line of code and put it here. So now let's run the code. So now beneath the callMyNightSky function, use console.log to log the value of callMyNightSky to the console. So now below that, console.log callMyNightSky and parentheses, yes. Let's click run. Night sky, the moon, North Star and the Milky Way. Now let's review this code. The 3 variables are declared globally: satellite, galaxy and stars, which hold the value the moon, the Milky Way and North Star. We know this because we did it in the first challenge over here. But now we are accessing these variables, satellite, stars and galaxy, within a callMyNightSky function. That means this statement exists within a code block over here. But still we are able to print the variables to the console because they are declared globally. So like we learned in this lesson, global variables can be accessed by any and all code blocks and statements within the same file which the variables are declared in. Let's go to the next lesson. Block scope. When we define or declare a variable within a code block, it is local to the code block. That means its content cannot be accessed anywhere outside that code block. Such variables have block scope, and such variables are called local variables. So here in this example, we have a function log sky color which has its own code block over here, its own pair of curly braces. And within the code block, we have two statements which declares a variable color and gives it the value of blue, and just logs the value of color to the console. So notice how we have declared the variable within the code block. That means this variable exists only within the log sky color function. So now when we just call the function log sky color, it'll print blue to the console, because it's just going to execute all the statements within log sky color. So when it comes to executing the function, JavaScript will declare a variable color and give it the value of blue. And now JavaScript knows that the color variable exists, and now when we again reference it in the next statement within the same code block, it knows that color will hold the value blue, and therefore it has to print blue to the console. So now, but in the next line, if we try and print console.log color, it will give a reference error because color is not declared because we are calling color outside the code block of which it is defined. So we will look more into this while we're doing the challenges. Let's in main.js define a function log visible light wave. I'm just going to copy that first. So const control v is equal to, and put that there. Now I have defined the function. Let's click run. Within the log visible light waves function, using const create a variable light waves and set it equal to moonlight. So I'm gonna say const light, is that capital W? Yes, light waves is equal to moonlight, and click run. So notice again how I've declared light waves within the function log visible light waves, similar to this example. So now within the log visible light waves function, beneath the light waves variable, add a console.log statement that will log the value of light waves variable when the function returns. So I'm going to come below that and say console.log light waves. Click run. Yes, the instruction is executed perfectly. Let's go to the next one. Call the log visible light waves function from outside the function. So I come below and say log visible light waves and call that with parentheses. Click run. Moonlight is logged to the console because we have called this function, and when we call this function, all the statements within the function are executed. So when we call it, light waves is declared using const and given the value of moonlight. And now JavaScript knows that light waves variable exists, which holds the value of moonlight. And therefore, when we try to print the value of light waves to the console, it will print moonlight. Now let's go to the fifth instruction. Beneath the function call, log the value of light waves to the console from outside the function. So I'm going to come over here and say console.log light capital waves. Click run. We get moonlight first because this statement executes correctly, and then below that we get a reference error. This means because JavaScript cannot find the reference to light waves because we are using light waves outside of the variable scope. Notice how that we are using this. We are calling light waves outside of the function in which it is declared. We cannot do this because light waves has a local scope. So now I'm just going to comment out this statement so you don't get any errors, and click run again. Moonlight comes successfully. But now I'm just going to reposition this statement, put it before the declaration of the variable. Now we are still calling the light waves function within the function in which light waves is declared. But when we click run, let's see what happens. We still get a reference error and says light waves is not defined. This is because we are calling the light waves variable before the light waves variable is declared. We know that we cannot call variables we cannot use variables before declaring them, and the same concept applies for local variables as well. Let me just redo all that. Put that there. I'm not going to save that. Sorry. Click run, and moonlight comes, because we didn't change anything again. So guys, that was it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for more further content. Thank you for watching.